Today's not about navigating or teaching you how to navigate or linking you to resources that you need to navigate. No, today is about connecting. It's about finding yourself in each other, seeing yourself in the lives of each other, right here, right now, right in this room. It's about sharing stories, and it's about sharing yourself. Welcome to Sibs 2019, everyone. Let's connect with each other. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
With me and my sister, we've always been close. I've always been around her since childhood. And when I was younger, I don't think I knew too much about disabilities. You know, it was kind of something that was just always around from birth. My mother's best friend, she also has 2 sons with disabilities, and when I was young, I used to go to their house all the time, have sleepovers. So it was like they were my brothers, you know. So it was like I always looked at them just like anyone else, you know. And for my sister, it's just like I've seen her grown so much over the years, and for me, I know that there's nothing that she can't do. It's once she has her mind set on something, she's gonna make it happen. And that's always been something that, even for myself, it motivates me as a person, you know. And after this film was actually shot, I actually got into the industry and I started doing direct support work. So myself, I now work with adults with disability, and it's been a great experience. Yeah, I definitely have a lot to do with the things that go on with my sister. Taking her to her doctor's appointments, I'm always there, making sure my mother understands everything that's going on with her and stuff like that. They got to go to church. Anything that they have to do, I always have to work that into my schedule. So it's never easy. It's always tough. It's always an obstacle, but it can be done. And actually, in the film, you see my dad in there. He just passed away in December. So I actually just moved back in with my sister. I wasn't living with her, so I moved back in with her and my mother to make sure like everything's good with them and they're positive vibes and just keeping their head up and stuff like that. So it's definitely been a hard these past couple months, but we're sticking together. And I just wanted to add, just like with your film, it's called the R word. And for me, when I was young and uneducated, I used to use that word, you know. And once I knew what the word meant, I cut it out my dictionary. And even for now, like when I hear people or my friends saying the word, I will literally make them feel uncomfortable. So it's like, now it's like they know when I'm around, like they'll just like stop using stuff like that. So I think like these kind of films will really like educate people on stuff like that. They might say it's like built into their vocabulary, but they don't really know what they're doing when they say that. So I think like these films will really educate people on stuff like that. I've been living in Rhode Island my whole life, and I love traveling, but I can't just up and leave my sister. So I feel like definitely holds me back a lot.
Is that your phone, Naomi?
Yeah.
Oh, just for play, right.
Last video I put out, Got the Juice, she's been watching that every day. Like, oh, she's like running up her data plan. Dilly, man. Chop the head down. This is my little sister right here. Got her camera crew with her.
Fall in love. To sex, money, cars, and clothes.
I feel like I'm an artist now. I feel like I'm more all around. It's not just like one thing.
I'm trying to go far.
I could do everything from writing a song to shooting the video and whatever, like all of that stuff.
She served me up like corn and clover. One message I decode her. She come from South Dakota. She likes my juice, she likes Yola.
I think Naomi can definitely live on her own if she had like a good setup, had someone coming in, checking in on her. Kind of putting a blueprint for her that she can learn and figure out how to do on a daily basis. I think she'd be good at that.
In all the research I'd done, I hadn't really seen anything about language, about the R word. And I assume that I can probably speak for everyone up here, and most of you in the audience, that the R word was something that I was hypersensitive to growing up. The genesis of the project kind of came about when I thought about, okay, let's do something about the R word, and wasn't sure if it was going to be something about my family. And as I did more research, the stories that resonated with me were the sibling stories. There's a lot that the general public doesn't know, and especially like the younger generation doesn't know about the history of disabilities, of language having to do with disabilities. And not everyone is as fortunate as we are to have a loved one who's kind of shown us the way. So I think that, and I hope that my film, our films, can be conversation starters to kind of like help break down the walls and just really highlight the fact that people like his sister, my sister, his brother, her brother, are just like us. There's a part in the film, if you guys get to watch it a little bit later, we talk about my sister and the fact that she wants to be in a relationship, just like most people. She struggles with her weight, just like a lot of people. She got fired from her job, like maybe not everybody, but a lot of people. There's a story that prefaced the first grade show and tell story, which was that in kindergarten, my triplet sisters and I had invited a friend over for a play date. And she came over, and she had never met anyone with Down syndrome before. And she got scared, and she asked to go home. I don't think it's a coincidence that the following year in first grade, that for show and tell, I brought my sister in. The experiences that we have when we're younger inform, who we become. And then, so I kind of consider that as like my first act as an advocate for my sister, that show and tell experience. And then as I got older, kind of the day-to-day, during adolescence and into adulthood, one of the most common, instances of that was with the R word.
So growing up with a sister with Down syndrome definitely made me and my triplet sisters that much more sensitive to specific language that surrounded people with intellectual disabilities. And none more passionately than the word retard or retarded.
So tell me what it was like to grow up in a family with 3 sisters.
It was fun. We always laugh. We sometimes like to bicker a lot. Except I grew out of that. I love my sisters.
I think until the age of 5, I don't think my triplet sisters and I were really aware of the fact that Gabrielle had Down syndrome. When I was in first grade, we were asked to bring in an item for show and tell, and most of my friends brought in a Cabbage Patch doll or a G.I. Joe figure. I brought in my sister Gabrielle. And it's interesting because somehow I knew at such an early age, at 6 years old, that I wanted to show my peers that Gabrielle was no different than any of them and that there was nothing to be afraid of.
But I think with these documentaries, it's, in most ways, they're a normal family like anyone else. And, if watching one of these documentaries makes someone the next time go, that person that's there, working in my office or there on the street or working at the grocery store, don't just pass them by, you say hi, ask them how their day is. After the documentary comes out, I start hearing on Facebook, email, at events, I started hearing from so many siblings that said, I connected with your story, just like all of us are connecting with the stories we're seeing here. It was interesting because, 4 or 5 years ago, my dad called me and he said, Owen and Emily have been dating and they're doing, they're kissing, but you gotta talk to him about this stuff. And I was like, I think that's the dad's job, not the son's. Navigating the same feelings and issues that anyone's gonna navigate is, sometimes just more of a challenge for Owen. I talked to Owen about this a couple of days ago, but it's been going on for a while. Owen and Emily did break up, and Owen has decided, he says, I want to date a neurotypical girl, and I want it to be in Boston. It's like, all right, let's just start with the one part, and then we'll go to the other. But, he lives in a community where there are a lot of very interested women out there, but this is Owen's choice, and we support him in this. But it also is hard to have that conversation when he goes, why is it so hard? So I don't know, again, older siblings here, I would love to sit down with you, because it's a thing we are navigating and trying to figure out day to day, and it's certainly our biggest challenge right now. Owie.
Yep,
Not going well here.
not going well because of the rocks.
Yeah, just thinking, you and Emily are the same age Mom and Dad were when they
Yeah.
started dating.
Yeah.
You kind of see yourselves like Mom and Dad?
Yes, we do.
How so?
Because we take it slowly.
Yeah?
Yeah. We have the same interests.
Yeah, well, so what are... You got Disney.
Yep.
Pretty serious thing, a girlfriend of 3 years,
Yeah. It is pretty serious.
You've had a class on this at school, right? Have you thought about those things?
Sometimes I have.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel a little nervous and a little excited.
Okay, how does it make you feel a little nervous? Let's
I
start
haven't
with
tried
that.
it before. Yep.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you see it?
Movies.
Yeah. For instance, you see how some people kiss.
Yeah.
They might use their what? They don't just use their lips, they use their...
Their feelings.
All right. Ice cream time, bud?
Yes, let's go.
I say this in the film and I'll say it here. Micah and I live closer to each other than we do to our parents. And I say that because it's really important for siblings to know that they can move away and their sibling can move away. In the film, he talks about having a 40 IQ. I share that so we know that IQ doesn't determine what is possible for someone. And the film Intelligent Lives, along with the other films, highlight what happens when people get to take risks. And I think it was maybe your mom or your dad in the clip shared, we knew there were going to be ups and downs in Owen's life, and often, to be very frank, parents do a really good job making sure their kids don't take risks because they're really afraid of what's going to happen. But siblings push a little bit harder than the parents. And that's the gift of the relationship. That's the gift of having this other kid, is that they're going to say, no, I remember as a kid, my parents, it felt, whether it's true or not, but it felt that my brother Micah didn't have as many responsibilities as I had. And so I'd say, no, like he can take out the trash, or like make him empty the dishwasher. He needs to do that too. If you're going to have me do it, like he should absolutely do it. So I think what these stories share, even though they're not directly about being a sibling, is that it is often the siblings who say, no, like my brother or sister can do that. Like it might not look great at first, or yes, he might get teased, or maybe he is going to take the wrong bus the first time, but you allow your other kid without the disability to go off to college or to go take that risk, and you're okay with that happening. And so siblings push that to say, like, everyone deserves to have risks. Dan Habib chose to focus on for Micah was around dating, which is a really important part of that's often that's not talked about as much for people with intellectual disabilities. Micah and Megan were dating, and one reason why the relationship didn't go further than initial dates was around this issue of guardianship. Micah is his own guardian, and that requires extensive supports and community to make sure that people are doing what they need to do so that he grows and thrives. And Megan is not her own guardian, and so her parents had particular ways of talking about how they wanted Micah and Megan to date, which included having some supervision around their dates. And I share that just so that families think one more time before they make that decision around guardianship, and what do you need to do as a family to create the right support so that everyone gets to have relationships and that they're age appropriate. Megan and Mike are in their 20s and 30s, and what's right, and how do we honor and talk about the fears that we all have, because both has to be true. But the other outcome is that now Micah's working at Planned Parenthood doing sex education, which I just think is great.
Thank you so much for that present. I was very happy and honored, and it was just very nice to get a present from you. And
like, there was another one that was saying, like, the word love or something, but then Cindy was like, I thought you and Micah were probably not into the, like,
yeah.
that much into the relationship yet.
Yeah.
In terms of guardianship, you're your own guardian.
Yeah, thank God. Right?
You're not interested in having them become...
Oh, no. No. I talked to my parents about it, like with like big decisions or stuff. I like share, like when they come to visit, they talk to me, but it's my final decision of how I want to live my life.
Micah Fialka Feldman, Certificate, School of Education.
Mike and I live closer to each other than we do to our parents. And I don't know if anyone knew that that was going to be possible in his life. It's something that like makes me emotional because you just like it's just these constant reminders that you don't know what people are gonna do.